practice this. In order to move through a long phrase that has all these coloraturas and all these movements, which it goes up and down your range, you have to kind of, it's really the nuances, keeping that resonance nice and forward. So this one here, it goes much faster than this. And that part I'm still d'amour. So you have to focus on keeping resonance. So when you go from something like this here, so that A and the C, which is the lowest point here, is quite a bit in the range, right? So it's like you want to, you don't want to drop. You want to make sure you keep that tall space in the back, but you always want to try to get the brightness in there. So you have to slightly adjust constantly. And it's the nuance between and, well, that was too much jaw. You see how I adjusted? Oh, that was the wrong pitch. Still learning this piece. Le d'amour. Okay, so it's really in the nuances. Voilà la chanson gentille. So it's the E, all of this on an E. It's the nuance that makes the big difference. La chanson gentille. Too dark. Too narrow. So we have all these leaps. So first it's staccato, then it's legato, then it's staccato again. So it kind of alternates. So it's a constant in the back. You can't see this, but I'm constantly adjusting to kind of keep a nice tone while changing pitches quite a bit. And as I go higher, I have to open that E up just a bit more. So, you know. And then we have to La chanson d'Olympia. That is the most difficult, I feel like, because there's this big leap in there and it just kind of messes it all up. So really, it's the nuance that makes a big difference. Hugest, tallest space in the back of the throat, while keeping those brighter vowels like the E, we don't want to darken them. And also the A, especially for a coloratura soprano, it is not beautiful to have too much of an oh. Don't darken that vowel too much. So it's like I'm still kind of getting messed up. Just recently started learning this. So it's literally you try to kind of keep the brightness and not start with you also don't want to, you want to try to keep everything relaxed here. It needs to look and have this illusion like, oh, it's nothing, no work. It's just effortlessly flying out there, which the reality is, of course, you are working hard, but it's more on the level of your support, of course. The breathing and support is very much at work here. you control all of those fast things basically mostly with your support. And then it's a constant adjustment back here, you know, like your larynx position as you move up and down pitches, and like just kind of guiding the sound waves to where they kind of ring in the mask as much as possible and they remain there. You don't want to interrupt anything, even when there are like consonants. You don't want to interrupt that ring that goes in there. And then of course get the speed in. Just memorize the pitches, which I'm still kind of working on. It's not easy when it's fast. And then we have this nice still so tense a little bit. So we want to try to not have it too tense. You know, what you experience a lot is probably then that means you're pushing out too much air. You're not working with your support enough to kind of perfectly synchronize that onset and offset with, you know, the start and stop of the air coming through the vocal cords, and the vocal cords kind of, you know, doing this, coming together and apart, coming together and apart as they pitch. You know, there's pitch, there's a little pause. And it's that perfect synchronization without getting too tense here. So in this aria, you know, the doll song, it's like forte, piano, forte, piano. Oh, it's just this constant back and forth, which makes it a little difficult. So and then it's really hard. So you want to have it nice and floaty. What we don't want is no, it needs to be almost like a doll. You know, like a doll is not a person. So it's like, I thought if I'm ever going to act this, if I'm ever going to sing the entire role, I'd be like, or maybe like this. And then she has to be wound up again. It's fun. But again, it always needs to come across as if it were completely effortless. And of course it is not. Of course it is work. But again, the work isn't straining your vocal cords. The work comes in working with your support and really asking yourself, how can I take even more weight off the vocal cords by creating the shape that creates better resonance, so I have more sound, more brilliance, more ring in there without pushing and getting tense. So that is the challenge, my friends. Let me know in the comments. I would love to know, like, what is your biggest challenge right now? Like, I'm a coloratura, soprano, and soubrette. So for me, it's always going to be that high sparkly stuff, which I have the notes, but I feel like I'm still definitely working on getting the top even more free for those really, really high ones. C is not a problem, but anything like I need to really go to the E solid, and I don't have that solid anymore right now. So I could probably do it to the D, kind of. That kind of works any day. Anything above that, you know, right now it's like I can't. So I'm still working on that. I need to really get it to the E. I used to have the E, and I haven't practiced that for years, and I want to get back into it. It's really tense right now. And so it's always the highest, the limit in your voice will always be a little tense. And when you get closer to, you know, moving further away from that absolute limit, everything just becomes so much more relaxed. So if your high C is the limit, the high C will be tense. If your, you know, the B flat there will not be as tense as the C. If you have a good C or you have a tense C, the B flat will usually be a little less tense. So it's all about the angle, and it's about expanding constantly. Sing through until failure. Literally, when it doesn't have to sound pretty. So when I sing these really high ones right now that I don't really get yet, but the vocal cords kind of create them. I can kind of do the pitch to where even just the pitch comes out. It's not one that I would incorporate yet in a piece of music because it's very strained. You know, the D is kind of still works out. Anything higher than that right now. So, that sucked. It does help when I support. That was, ugh. That does not work. That does not work. It does not work yet. No, does not work. It's just squeaky. It's very squeaky. But again, it's unless you go there and you squeak, your vocal cords aren't even creating that frequency. There's not even that tension, and kind of we need to go there on a frequent basis. And if you do this often, I remember my B being like that, really squeaky. And now it's the D sharp and the E that I don't think I can. No, I can't really. Kind of came out. That was the E, but not beautiful. Not beautiful at all. And it's short. So long one would be much harder. I could do the C forever and ever. I can hold a nice C with a nice vibrato. I mean, not a problem. And this is where it becomes problematic. That I wouldn't sing that one anymore. Nah. It's not singable. It doesn't have resonance. It's just squeaky. So yeah, definitely working on that. Stay tuned for my journey because I want to get back into it because I used to have a solid D sharp and an E. Yeah. I sang it a few times in concerts, and it was okay. It was okay. Maybe not extreme because I never really practiced that a lot. Kind of stopped my opera career before it really got started. I mean, I did have lead roles and I performed all over, in different places in the world. And then I decided I didn't want to do it anymore because other story. But it is a work in progress constantly. Have fun singing and let me know in the comments. What is your biggest challenge right now?